Okay, this video is going to focus on calculating the amount of active ingredient in a prescription. So we have an example here that says how much codeine is in each dose of codeine phosphate oral solution, 15 milligrams per ml. Directly underneath that, we have an RX that calls for codeine oral solution, 15 milligrams per ml. The directions call for 1 teaspoon PO PRN pain, and we are dispensing 4 fluid ounces. So we have a formula here. It's the strength over the unit equals the strength of the dose over the total units of the dose. So let's put this formula into action. We're going to start with the strength over the unit. That's what we have, which is 15 milligrams per ml. And we're looking for the strength of each dose. So in this case, the dose is 1 teaspoon, which is equivalent to how many milliliters? 5 ml. And we're looking for how many milligrams are in that dose. So we're going to cross multiply 15 times 5. Sorry, my calculator went off. I get 75. And if I cross multiply in the other direction, I'm going to get 1 times x, which is just going to give me x. So I know that this is 75 milligrams per dose. Okay, for this example, we have an RX of dopamine 400 milligram. We're being told to add that to 500 milliliters of normal saline. However, in stock, what we have is dopamine 80 milligrams per milliliter. So we're being asked how many milliliters of that stocked dopamine should be added to the normal saline. So let's start with what we have, which is 80 milligrams per ml. And we are looking for how many milliliters it's going to take to reach that 400 milligrams that we need to add to the bag. So that's how we would set that equation up. Then we're going to cross multiply. 1 times 400 is 400. I cross multiply the other direction, I'm going to get 80x. So I can divide by 80. And 400 divided by 80. And hopefully you got the same thing I got. We need to add 5 milliliters of the dopamine that we have in stock to the normal saline IV bag. Okay, so for this example, we have a Z-Pack, which contains 6 tablets of azithromycin 250 milligram, which are taken over the course of 5 days. The question is, how many total milligrams of active ingredient are contained in the Z-Pack? So remember our formula. We're going to take the strength over the units. In this case, we have 250 milligrams per tablet. And we're going to set that equal to, we're looking for the number of milligrams contained in all 6 tabs. So that is how we would set that equation up. Then we are going to cross multiply 250 times 6, which is 1,500. And if I cross multiply the other direction, I get 1x, which is x. So 1,500 milligrams is the answer to how many total milligrams of active ingredient are contained within the Z-Pak. Right, for this example, we're being asked how many micrograms of fentanyl would be contained in 1.5 milliliters. Our stock solution contains fentanyl 100 milligrams per 2 ml. So let's start with what we have. 100 micrograms per 2 ml. So that's what we have. And we will set that equal to, or looking for the amount of micrograms in 1.5 milliliters. So we will cross multiply 100 times 1.5. I get 150. And when I cross multiply the other direction, I'm going to get 2x, which means I need to divide this by 2. 150 divided by 2 is 75. And remember, this is micrograms. I don't know why I keep trying to make it milligrams, but it's micrograms. CG. Sorry about that. The 75 micrograms would be contained in the 1.5 milliliters. Also notice, I mean, it kind of makes sense, right? If you look back at it. So I do recommend that when you come up with your solution, just make sure that it correlates, right, reasonably. This number should not have gone higher than this type thing, right? Okay, our next example says how many milligrams of APAP, that is the abbreviation for acetaminophen, are in 2 tablets of hydrocodone with acetaminophen. The hydrocodone strength is the 2.5 milligrams. The acetaminophen strength is 325 milligram. Now, the 2.5 over 325, those are the strengths per tablet. So in order to calculate the amount of acetaminophen in 2 tablets, I need to first establish that I have 325 milligrams of acetaminophen in 1 tab. Now, there's a couple of ways we could do this one. I'm going to go ahead and set it up with a ratio and proportion first, and then I'll show you the shortcut. So we could set this equal to how many milligrams in 2 tabs, right? Which is just going to make us do 325 times 2, which is 650. And when we cross multiply the other direction, we get 1x, which is just going to give us x. So that is 650 milligrams contained in the 2 tablets. The other way we could have done this, because it was 325 for 1 tablet, and we just needed to go to 2 tablets, we could have just simply doubled the 325, right? That's essentially what we did as we cross multiplied. So again, if you feel comfortable enough with the math where you wouldn't have to actually go through the steps of doing the proportion, you could have simply doubled that number. Okay, and the last example I'm going to do on calculating the amount of active ingredient is how many milligrams of hydrocortisone are found in 1 tablespoon of Cortef that is stocked as 10 milligrams per 5 ml. So once again, we're going to start with what we have, the 10 milligrams per 5 ml. And again, if you're one of those people that can look at this problem and already see the answer, go ahead for it. For those that cannot, it's okay. How many milliliters are in a tablespoon? 15. So that is how we would set that equation up. Now we got 10 times 15, which gives us 150. And if I cross multiply the other direction, I'm going to get 5x, which means I'm gonna have to divide this by 5. 5 goes into 150 30 times. So that is 30 milligrams. Some of you may have been able to look at the fact that this was 5 ml, that was 15, and figured out that you just needed to multiply that by 3. It would have got you to the same place. So again, it's just your comfort level. Do you need to do it the long way and see it all worked out? Or are you one of those people that can just look at it and see it? So I hope this video has helped you with learning how to calculate the quantity of active ingredient in a prescription.